installation of the event handler. When you double click a button in the Visual Studio Designer, it automatically generates the click event handler for the button. For a button named button underscore show, the event handler would look like this. Private sub button underscore show underscore click, then into brackets sender as object, comma, e as event arguments, bracket closed, handles button underscore show dot click. Now, as per the comment here, this code is to execute when button show is clicked. Then we have end sub. Anytime you are writing a Visual Basic code, it always starts with private sub and ends with end sub. But then, slight difference from what we used to have in Visual Studio 6, we used to have this private sub button underscore show. So it would have stopped here, and then we have some brackets. But you can see in visualbasic.net, we have this other stuff, which is within now the brackets. Sender as object and E as event arguments. And this has made some students get discouraged, and especially when they are writing a code. You will notice that this information, mostly which is inside the brackets, is always the same. So it should not be a source of discouragement at all. Then we shall look at the components of the event handler. The starting one here is a private sub. And if you look at this, it indicates a private subroutine that doesn't return any value. Then we have button show, click, the name of the method. By convention, it combines the controls name, button show, and the event name, click. So up to here we have the controls name, and then combined with the event, which is click. The number 3, we have sender as object and E as event arguments. Sender as object refers to the button that is triggered, or that triggered the event. Then E as event arguments contains event specific data for a button click, and this is usually not used. Then number 4, we have handles button show dot click. Now this associates this method with the click event of the button show. Then we can look at an example of the usage. Suppose we want to display a message when the button is clicked. So we have an example here. Private sub, button show, click, sender as object, E as event arguments, handles button show dot click. Message box dot show, into brackets, you clicked the show button. Remember, you can see this is a data type which is string, and always you can see with string we always use double quotation marks to represent that. And then of course we have the end sub. Then adding logic to the button click, you can use the event to perform any action such as updating labels, showing forms, or processing user input.